Good morning. This morning ABC presents Lighting of London to a table full of friends, colleagues and associates. Steve Noyes, their managing director and founder, will be presenting Lighting of London, the company, what they do, how they do it, and why 25 years ago he set out to improve on the service that the lighting industry was providing into the construction industry. Today we present Steve and Lighting of London.
Okay, right, let's get into it. So, Lighting of London, so basically, what do I do and what do we do? So, we, a leading supplier of architectural lighting. So we leave off at the decorative side of things. So we just concentrate on between sort of 70% of the main, in a large residential property. So we concentrate on 70% of the actual lighting products that go within that, and then based on their architectural products. So what we try and do, and this is what this little brief note is explaining, what we try and do is, it's a bit of a cliche, but we honestly do try and work with people. We're not just box sellers. We're not set up in any way just to be box sellers, because our resources are a lot more than just obviously selling products. So we can do design, technical design, and them two they're quite big areas. When you really focus on them areas, really hopefully we can help people out. So we work with, so we're only B2B, so we work with like interior designers, smart home companies, electricians, architects, M&Es and things like that. But a little bit about sort of the history, and this is my history and a few other guys that sort of within the company. But I started in the electrical industry, and Andy touched on this, but I started in the electrical industry in '98.
You don't look old enough.
Oh, thank you. I did actually have to fact check these dates. I was like, this is seriously bad. Yeah, this is oh God, where the year's gone. But yeah, and this is when Mr. Butler sort of come into my life. So this was when, this is a very dark. No, it's not. It's brilliant. This is brilliant. But so for electrical, but this gives me like you need this. Basically, there's two sides of I think of this world. Like you either come from sort of the showroom and sort of in more designery, retail-y kind of area, or you come from maybe more sort of a hands-on kind of technical kind of background. But yeah, that obviously got me involved in sort of intelligent lighting systems. So Lutron, all the regular names, Crestron, Rayco, and things like that. And there's a whole pressing on you. But and then that followed through to lighting design. So this was at the time I sort of went self-employed, and I was sort of contracted out to work with I won't mention, but all the big names of lighting designers in London. Basically, there was only a few. There still is, to be fair. But and that was sort of the advent of LED. Now, basically, what happened is they would give you a fantastic layout, a design layout, to the electricians on site or the contractor, and they just didn't have a clue, so there was no technical information put onto that. And this was the time sort of LEDs started to become quite prominent, but this and the systems hadn't caught up with the technology. So this is when, I'm going to get a bit techy here, but you start putting in synthetic loads to make the lights work, and this is where it all fell down. So I was like in quite a fortunate position of knowing what I knew, so I contracted out to all of these, and that got me into the design world, and that's when I went off and did my lighting design kind of things. And then we've hit here basically, and this is working with other lighting manufacturers in the industry. Some good, some bad, and kind of thinking like I think I can do this a bit better and a bit different, and that's what sort of we went off and did. So Lighting of London is 27 years in the making. Not just me. There's 5 of us. So why did I set it up? Okay, so there's a big gap. There was a big gap. There was the low end, entry level, I should say, entry level end. I'm not going to mention any names, but sort of you get them from widespread electrical wholesalers kind of thing, and then you got the the real sort of top end where the guys sort of promote themselves in a way that doesn't really sort of resonate to me or anyone else I was sort of talking to at the time. So really it boils down to this: high quality light fittings. And what is that? Is it the metal work? is it the technical aspect behind it? We thought it was that, so that's what we did. So we concentrated all the techie stuff, the boring bit that basically gives you longevity of product. So if you specify any of our bits and pieces, one, they come with a lifetime guarantee. Why do we do that? Because we're 100% confident, because we know the inner workings of it, so we know what fails and what doesn't fail. And basically, if it's going to fail, it normally happens within the first 6 weeks, and that's a fault with production when the chips get made. And if it doesn't, then you've got 50,000 hours and onwards. So that's why we do that. And customer service as well. And again, that's a bit of a word that's sort of bandied around. What does that actually mean? Like, that means in reality, so if, and again, it's working with other companies, if you had a problem on site, and yeah, it's electrical components, so they do go wrong.
Can I ask, because the product improves, but if I'm right, in the lighting industry, there was so much disparate connections, who was doing what, and people were pointing fingers at people. Do you go on site to coordinate and bring the whole thing together?
We do,
take responsibility
Yeah.
for the control system working, the lights, and stand in the middle and say, we will make sure this
Yeah,
works.
100%. Yeah, and I think that hopefully is going to come in the next little bit there, but I'll talk about that in just a sec. But just, yeah, sort of, cheers for that. But yeah, just coming back to that customer service. So what does it actually mean when it boils down? So if you've got an issue and you ring that company up and then you say, oh, you know, we're fantastic, great, but unfortunately we've got one light fitting or one driver that's you know, not working, a faulty or whatever, what do I do? So that's at the point where I got sent to, and I don't know if anyone else experienced this, but you get sent to, okay, well, if you email in support, do that. If you do that, so email support in, and then support gets paid, well, just fill this form out, and then, and you've spent like X amount of, so this is just one example though, how we work. So basically, if you've got a problem, you send us a WhatsApp, a text, email, pigeon, or whatever you want to do. And then the next day it's sent to you, and that's the end of that process. And that's reflected on a lot of other processes, that how we work, okay? So it's as simple as that. Yeah, layer of detail, eager to work closely with other companies. So, and again, I think Andy just touched on this. This is how we do this. So, let's say we're only B2B. We've got to add value to you. That's the important thing from us. So we're not adding value to you, then what? You know, we are just box sellers then, and we're not set up for that. So we need you. Yeah, so we can take everything. So we can take full ownership. I try not to scare people at this stage, because it's really, because you've done all the hard work getting the client, haven't you? You've done all that legwork, and you know the client's trusting in you, and we don't want to come in and spoil any of that. But we can do everything. We can take full command of any project or that you've got going on. But what that means is that you can't ever be caught out by any technical questions from anyone, because that all comes to us at the end of the day. So if you get some, and it does happen, you get people asking some ridiculous things where they know a little bit of information, but then want to try and exploit that with their knowledge. But send that to us, say, okay, yeah, no worries, ring Steve or Pete or whatever, Brennan in the office, and they'll answer, or we'll work through you, kind of thing. We can come on site. So yeah, we've had a couple of scenarios with people thinking one system's better than the other, but they don't really know. We're talking about, so I don't want to get too techy, but we're talking about Dali systems was one of the previous jobs, and what's the advantages over this and that. But when you break it down, it's just a control platform, a control system. We're not there to judge it, it's just whatever you want to do, kind of thing. But what I'm trying to say is that we come in and do that for you. You haven't got to have them difficult conversations, okay? And the other thing is basically revenue stream, really. So we only deal with you, we don't deal with your end client. However you want to manage that margin is completely up to you guys, but that's coming back to how we work at where the gap of the market was between the low and the high. Our products are, I would say this, but our products are, you can put them compared to anyone and they'll stand up, they'll surpass, to be honest. But our margin, price point is more reflective. Do you only sell your products, or do you work? Just us, yeah, purely us, yeah, 100% us, yeah, nothing else. So you're doing the whole service with products? Yeah. Not fitting other people's or being involved with other people's products? We can, certainly with decorative, we'll help out for placements, if you want like placement options or control methods or the technical breakdown of how to control this pendant and things like that. We'd certainly help with that. But yeah, no, it just leaves we only supply our own bits and pieces. Yeah, and this is a nice little shide. So yeah, and again, this is kind of our ethos, but we don't use buzzwords and blah, blah, blah. We just let the products speak for themselves. And again, that's true. We're very techy. This is where the important things happen here. Well, all these things to be fair, but this is where the important thing happens, not sort of how you.
Control system.
Yeah, this is where like your reputation counts. Like if you was to put these and the client spends X amount of money, this is the important bit here, not how fluffy we try and backdrop this with pink shades and boxes and whatever. But that's the important bit there, and that's what we're really good at. So that just touches on products again, products of purpose design. So this is really important actually, this little thing here. So with our range, we do this, there's two separate things. So one, we try to make it manageable. So when you look on our product catalogues and things like that, we don't over complicate things. So we don't just take a product and then replicate that 20 times with slight variations. We only design products in terms of lighting design in mind. So each product is there to do a job. And if it does the best job, which we've created to do, then we don't see any point in creating other spin-off versions just to add to a catalogue portfolio. So you won't see that with us. So each product really is just the best it can be. So we don't try and overcomplicate like that. Quality, obviously, yeah, no variations, and then that's just the countless variations that I touched on, just said.
Steve, stand back.
So, box sellers, yeah, touched on this, we worked with, yeah, and that really is true, because I'm fortunate enough to get into this position with a few other things I did, so, you know, we've all got to work together. Again, it's a bit cliche-ish, but it really does mean something to us. We don't care the size of project. If you come with, you know, couple of £100, one room or something. Honestly, there's no difference. It's maybe more logical way, but there's no difference between that and a multi-million pound whatever. There's none, absolutely none. We just want to work with you, no matter what, on anything. If someone's excited about what we do and the lighting design and coupling it together with the products, then that's the best thing for us, and that's how we're set up. So we do lots and lots of trade shows throughout the year, which I'm building a bit of a list up, so you'll get bombarded with, you know, letting us know we're there. The next one's at Clerkenwell Design Week, but I think we've got 4 planned this year, and this is where we really sort of stand out in what we do, kind of thing. This was actually one of our first trade shows, this was. So yeah, accessible to everyone. So that's kind of a nice way of saying that. And again, this is working on, when I work with the big companies, they like to work with their certain types of people, and that's fine, we'll work differently, but we're quite, you know, as in these project sites, we really are, we just want to work with people that are passionate about lighting. Yeah, we don't restrict certain types of companies. So again, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced where, you know, everyone's got to start out somewhere. If you've rung up companies and they've been a little bit, should we say, snooty or a little bit standoffish with, but we don't do that. We don't want to. Yeah, and again, it's about the value of the size of the project. So if it's just a one room kind of thing, if you want us to look at just an outside space, we do a quick design for you. It doesn't matter to us.
Sorry, orange juice?
Oh, please, thank you. So I'm interrupting again.
Troublemaker. Yeah, and why work with us, basically. So this, we've answered a few of them questions, but yeah, so this is the important thing. This is what you've got to take away from today. So this is not, even though I'm standing here talking about, this is not about us. This is about you. This is about you adding to your offer, you know, what you can do. So, you know, interior design, you may go in, you know, you've got your set working thing, but try and take something away and think, hang on, what, you know, I'm creating these amazing spaces, and it may be anything from smart home to electrical, but you're creating these amazing rooms, but they're not lit correctly, then it's only going to reflect on maybe a little bit more poorly on you than it could have, kind of thing. So, but add that to your portfolio of things that you offer. But do it, you know, as I say, have the confidence to do it through us. Yeah, because as I say, we're not just gonna, you don't have to come to us with a list of projects. You just come to us with a floor plan and just say, Steve, what's your ideas on that? I'll get sent these 20 times a day, just images on phones, and I'll do sketches and whatever and this and that. And after a little bit of time, you'll gain the confidence from us. You know, but we're here to be, utilised. Yeah, so that's important, because at the end of the day, if we, I don't want to be too crass, but if you don't make money, then we can't help other people, kind of thing. So we, how can I say this without getting myself? But again, you might think of other companies that you've worked with and you start off with, and you ring up initially and they'll vet you and whatever, and then offer you some kind of, 2.5% or whatever, and then we see how you get on for a year. Or if you've got a multi-million pound project, then we can talk about a special price and all this kind of thing. Again, we don't work like that. Yeah, and that's really important as well. So this is slightly, I should make a bigger thing out of this. But we hold stock. We hold lots and lots of stock. So again, not everyone does that. Lots of people do, lots of people don't, but we hold vast quantities of it. Yeah, and again, this is kind of touching what Andy said as well. So we'll come on site, we'll do on-site meetings with you, we'll support you in any way. We'll come with demo packs. We've got lots of different demo packs that we offer, and they really do look great on, when you're sitting in front of a client on the table. Any questions, just as I said, sort of come through us. So you should have full confidence to go off and say, have you thought about the lighting and that kind of thing, and we'll be your partner, kind of thing on it. Yeah, so we make a big thing. No, I don't know. We make a big thing of this. So we work a little bit differently. So you can do, communication is, is key. So you can communicate us through any means necessary. We may not always get back to you at that time, but feel free to text us. Yeah, so B2B, yeah, and we put it a bit bluntly there, but you've got to take that away. Is that we're only here for you, kind of thing. I think, and then, as I say, Brennan, who done these slideshows, particularly proud of this, I think, with the dot moves. So yeah, we are unrivaled, and thank you. But yeah, any questions or anything like that? But hopefully, it's hard, because I could have easily waffled on for about 4 or 5 hours, but I had to condense that, didn't I, tonight?
Of course you did.
10 minutes.
I'd be really hungry if you did.
But I did, believe it, I did delete slideshows. I had a slide on pulse width modulation techniques, and then apparently that wasn't the subject to choose at this particular time.
I think the one question I've got, and I know a few lighting companies, I think we all do if we work with them, is there a differentiation? Because I understand you do lighting design to the supply, and that really is good, because there are light designers and there are light suppliers. So you bring that, if I'm right, do you bring that all together from start to finish, yes?
We do, yeah. So again, this is where we sort of differ a little bit. So with my, me in particular, design background of thing. So these products, and it's like anything really you look at, but they only work in certain environments. So we can tell you the best light. You can buy the best light, like technically the superior light fitting in the world, but if it's not placed correctly, then it's just gone, isn't it? So you've got to. I've been on this mission to try and convert the world over to lighting. Think about the design first and then the products, kind of thing, or vice versa. But they sit in such a close relationship. It was a bit of a no-brainer. So and that's why I go back to this box setter thing. There's no good, I get designs every day with the typical grid format, 197 downlights, and we strip that out, and that turns into 57. But it's layer of lighting, and I think we've all, I think you've probably all experienced lighting design itself, and like this space in particular, this is great. There's lots of layers of light, it's all varied and things like this, and accent and blah blah blah. And this is the important thing but this has got to reflect on you. So at the stage, if you did this project, if you spec'd all the interior design, all the systems and things like that, when you come to them crucial photos, then they look amazing, but 2, you had a hand in it. But that's the thing, it's the confidence. Yeah, we're here to provide you with that, hopefully.
If you wish to know more about the ABC Presents series and want to promote your company and get involved, check out our website at www.abclimited.co.uk. There you can register and we will be in touch. We very much look forward to meeting you all and welcoming you into the community. More importantly, we hope you all become friends of ABC.